Hello and welcome to Giddy Knits episode number 20. Today is Wednesday the 29th of November and as usual I'm Helen. I am coming to you from Surrey in the United Kingdom where I live with my husband Tom and my two boys, Arthur who is 4 and Jasper who is 1. This is a knitting podcast for anyone who has stumbled across me randomly. Knitting, a little bit of crochet and also a bit of hand dyeing. Welcome to previous viewers. Thank you so much for coming back and watching. I am very sorry that I am a week late once again. I hope you understand sometimes life just gets in the way. And hello to anyone who is new. Now, new viewers, this may not be the best episode for you to start with. Things are going to be a little bit erratic. They're usually a little bit erratic, but this week I have a feeling it's going to be worse. For those of you that have watched me before, you may notice I'm in a different location, and you may already be able to hear a bit of background noise. Now, unfortunately, the reason I didn't record last week is because I had a stinking cold. So this week, Arthur's got a stinking cold, which means he's not at preschool. Jasper is asleep, but Arthur is not. And he's currently watching Paw Patrol and playing on the iPad. Emergency parenting babysitter. While I attempt to get this recorded. I didn't want to leave it any longer because I knew that if I left it another day, well, tomorrow I'm not going to be able to record. Friday, I've tried recording on a Friday and it's always completely hit and miss. And then by that point, it's going to be another week. Tom, I'll get into that in a minute. Anyway, it's going to be another week. And I didn't want to leave it a month. So I am going to attempt to record today. We may have interruptions. We may have distractions. We may have background noise. We don't have brilliant light. I've got overhead lights on today, I'm afraid. So colour accuracy may be a bit of an issue. But I wanted to get a podcast out there, so I'm afraid you're just going to have to put up with a little bit of chaos. Okay, so for anyone that is new and hasn't watched me before, as I said, I'm Helen. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Giddy Helen, and I am the dyer behind Giddy Yarns. And you can find information about my hand-dyed yarn on Instagram. I have an Instagram feed for it, which is at Giddy Yarns. And you can also find all the information about my hand-dyed yarn on my website, which is www.giddyyarns.com. Show notes. That's the other thing. Show notes for the episode can be found both on the website and in the Ravelry group. And we do have a Ravelry group. It is the Giddy Knits podcast group on Ravelry. You can find it by either searching in the groups tab or it will be linked down below, as will my website, for easy access to the show notes. They'll both be linked down below. And I usually link my Etsy shop down below, I believe, as well. Or at least I will this time, hopefully. Okay, so I think that covers pretty much everything that I usually say in my introduction. Hopefully I've not forgotten anything. This week, what do I have for you? I have got a couple of finished objects. I've got a work in progress. I've got a new cast on. I was going to share a little bit of blanket progress. I've got quite a lot of yarny goodness. I was going to touch on a little bit of shop news, although this week I think I'm going to do it mostly through pictures inserted, just because of the lighting and the time aspect. And then I thought I'd finish off with a little bit of behind the scenes. Right, so let's delve straight in to finished objects. I've got 2 finished objects to show you this week, and the first, finally, is my Central Park socks. These have felt a bit of a labour of love, and I do love them, but they have taken me a long, long time to knit, and I don't know why. I do have a finished pair, finally. And these are the Central Park socks, which is part of the New York Sock Collection pattern club by Mina Phillips, Knitting Expat. And I love them. This is, I think, pattern number 6 of 7. I'm not going to manage to finish the whole club along with the knit along, which is a bit of a shame, but I thought I had until the end of December, but it turns out actually I only have until the end of November, and that's tomorrow. And I can't knit a whole pair of socks that I haven't yet cast on tomorrow. But oh well, I'm still going to knit the pattern. I still want all of them by the end of the year, but actually now that I know that the knit along is finishing tomorrow, and I'm not going to get it, I might put less pressure on myself to get them finished by the end of the year. I think I'll just have the last pattern will be my next patterned sock cast on. Excuse the coughing. We think he's got a bit of a chest infection. We've been to the doctors this morning. They've given us some precautionary antibiotics to take if he doesn't get better, and they've also given him an inhaler to take because his breathing has been a little bit erratic. But he's fine, generally. He's fine in himself. He's just, not at preschool. And you might hear a bit of that horrible cough. But what else did I need to tell you about these? The yarn! The yarn, I have shown you these before, so you're probably bored of me telling you. But the yarn is Paper Daisy's... No, it's not. What am I on about? It's Paper Stories in the Shell Cottage colourway, which is a Harry Potter reference. And it is just this gorgeous... sort of sandy peachy pinks and blues, really, really, really pretty. And I still got a reasonable amount left, which is lovely. This will go into my blankets, and then any leftovers will probably get minied up for swaps. Okay, so that was my first finished object, my Central Park socks. And I have got one more finished object for you, and that you haven't even seen before. And actually, I need to say this quickly. My family, any of my family who might happen to be watching this, please don't watch the podcast for between now and Christmas, because you may catch a sneak peek. That'll do. You may catch a sneak peek of something I may or may not be knitting for you for Christmas, so don't watch. You can catch up after Christmas if you really want to. You can catch up after Christmas because you'll have received the gift, so you won't mind seeing it. So hopefully my family, be that my parents, my in-laws, or my aunt and uncle, who are probably the only people who are likely to watch this, go away now, and hopefully you've gone away, in which case I can show you the finished object I have. And this was actually a really quick knit. It took me 2 evenings to knit, but this is the Oats Cow by Tin Can Knits, which is part of their Simple collection. So it's a free pattern on Ravelry, and it is just a gorgeous cowl with this lovely garter stitch section, and then the rest of it's knit in stocking stitch, and it's just a squishy cowl. I'll stick it on. It's really nice and squishy and warm and cozy, and yeah, I've knit one of these before for Tom, and he loves it. This is actually for Tom's dad, so it's for my father-in-law. And the yarn I used is I Knit or Die, which is the hand-dyed yarn from I Knit London, which is a yarn shop near Waterloo Station in London. I've not blocked this yet, hence it's a little bit wonky. But it's, as I said, it's I Knit or Die. It's their Killing Me Softly base, which is 100% blue-faced Leicester. And the colourway, I believe, was Ziggy Stardust. And I'm really happy with how this is knit up, actually. It's really fun. I love these colours, sort of autumnal colours, but also with the blue and the white. So it kind of felt to me like autumns and sea. Does that make sense? Autumn and sea, autumn and waves. And my father-in-law loves autumnal colours, but he's also, they live in Cornwall. He's also very big on the sea, and he does a lot of canoeing and things like that. So this seemed like the perfect colourway for him. Now I actually knit this to a very loose gauge, which for me is very unusual. So the pattern is written for Aran weight or worsted, I believe, and this is a DK weight yarn because I picked the wrong one up in the shop because I'm an idiot and it's not going to focus. Come on, focus for me. I picked the wrong one up in the shop, but it's fine. I knit this I added a few stitches and I knit it on larger needles. I stuck with the needle size in the pattern, and actually I really like it. It's made for, you can see on the rib there, it's made for quite a loose gauged cowl. I don't know why my camera isn't focusing today, but we'll just give up and hold it back here. It's made for quite a loose gauge, but I think once I block it, that's going to be lovely because it's just going to be quite drapey and quite soft around the neck. Yeah, and really, really cosy. So I'm really pleased with the way that this has come out. I just need to block it and pin it out now to let it to dry. Let it to dry? That doesn't make any sense, does it? You know what I mean. Block it and pin it out and let it dry. And then that is another Christmas gift done. I've got quite a lot of Christmas gifts that I'm planning on knitting, and I've left it really late. So I need to get on with it. Okay, so that is my finished objects. So let's move on now to works in progress. I may be rushing through this a little bit, but that's because I'm very aware that Jasper's going to wake up soon and Arthur's not going to last very long without interrupting me, so I'm just going to get it out there, and hopefully it'll be a slightly shorter episode. Right, so works in progress. I've got 3 works in progress on the go at the moment, but all of them you've seen. And 2 of them have had very, very, very little progress, so I'm not going to show them this week. So that's my breathing space sweater. I've probably added about ½ an inch to it. And Tom's pumpkin socks, I've probably added about an inch to them. So really not worth sharing this week. I hope you don't mind, but then hopefully next time I record, well, my breathing space won't be done, but hopefully by next time I record, the socks will be done and there'll be significantly more progress on my breathing space. But I will share Arthur's metamorphic jumper. And this is a pattern by Lisa K. Ross. It's Paper Daisy's Creations on Instagram and Ravelry and everywhere, I don't know. And here comes my little interrupter. Hello again, little man. You alright? What do you want? What would you like? Hey? Jasper's sleeping, sweetie. Okay. Why don't you go back to a bit of Chibi Kids? Alright, Mummy will be finished shortly. Alright? Go on. Yeah, this is a pattern by Lisa K. Ross, Paper Daisy Creations. It's a DK weight pattern. I've knit it in DK weight yarn. You might notice a few lights coming around in the background. Arthur's got his little disco ball. But I have added a sleeve. Yeah, that's really bright. You can hold it up if you want. Sorry, people. Woo! Okay, go on. Why don't you go and play with it down there? Go and put the blanket over your head and see if you can make a little tunnel, a little cave, a light cave. Okay, so metamorphic sweater, and yeah, last time I showed you this, I had knit the body. I had finished the body. So I've since picked up the button bands and the collar and knit those, and I have finished a sleeve. Now this sleeve went completely wrong, and I really should rip it out and do it again now that I've realised what I've done wrong, but I'm so not going to do that. I did the decreases too quickly. Instead of doing 2 decreases in a round, I was doing 4 decreases in a round because my mind was working like the toe of a sock, because I knit the sleeves magic loop. So my mind was working like the toe of the sock. So when I was supposed to be decreasing at the beginning and the end of each round, I actually decreased at the beginning and the end of each needle. So I've got slightly steeper decreases than I should have had. But I do have the right number of stitches for the end bit, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm just hoping that this whole jumper is going to block out. It's looking a little bit small. I put it on him the other day and it was looking a little bit snug. Yeah, it's going to need some serious blocking if it's going to fit him. But then I keep reminding myself that if it doesn't fit him, then Jasper will grow into it, so it's fine. Because I do love the pattern, it looks beautiful and the colours are lovely, and I know he's going to love it with these colours as well. So just, yeah, massive fingers crossed that this is going to work out okay in the end. And the yarn I'm using for this is, I've shown it before, but it's Drops Merino Extra Fine. Not my camera's going to focus at all today. Drops Merino Extra Fine, which is just 100% wool blend. It's a DK weight, as I said. And yeah, it's lovely. It's really soft. And I used the 4-ply version of this for Arthur's Flax Light, and I've been really happy with it. Okay, so yeah, that is Arthur's Metamorphic, which is coming along. It's growing. He's back again. It's growing. So yeah. Okay, so that's all my works in progress. Ooh, you're making the camera go crazy. You're shining it at the camera and it's reflecting off and making funny marks on the screen for everyone to see. It's not really very good. Okay, so that's all my works in progress. Are you going to go back to your cave? Go and make a cave. Go and make a cave with it in. You don't want to? Okay. Right, I'm going to pause here again for 2 seconds, and I will be back to talk to you in a few minutes with something else. What am I going to have? A new cast on. I'll come back in a minute with a new cast on. Okay, I'm back. Sorry for the interruption, and sorry if you can see lights reflecting behind me as well. I just caught a glimpse of it on the bureau there. Arthur's still got his little disco ball thingy on. I hope it's not too disturbing for anybody. Oh, sorry. Right, new cast-ons. I have a new cast-on, which, considering the amount of works in progress that haven't had any progress on them, is a bit ridiculous. But this was a cast-on that I really, I needed to do this for the shop, which will all make sense in a second. So, I will show you. My new cast-on is actually a half-finished object, and here it is. It's a sock, obviously. So this was an experiment in self-striping yarn. So I have dyed this self-striping yarn, which I am quite chuffed with. And there it is in the ball. This ball is a little bit scruffy because I was just doing it for me. And it's blowing out a little bit because of the lighting. Let's see if I can bring it over here. It might be a bit better. No, it's blowing out horrendously, I'm afraid. I did say the lighting was going to be an issue today. But this was a precursor to my Glacier colourway, which is available in the shop at the moment. And yeah, self-striping yarn. I'm quite excited about this. To be fair, it's been a bit of a labour of love again. It's been a bit of a slog to get some of this self-striping done. It takes a long time, and it's not the dyeing. The dyeing process is quite straightforward, and that's fine. It's the winding it initially and the winding it up after it's been dried that seems to take the most time, at least for me. But it's so worth it, because if you can dye something that creates that when somebody knits with it, I just think that's amazing. And it seemed to be very, very popular as well in the shop, which is amazing. So yeah, so this is the precursor to my Glacier colourway. The actual colourway's got a slightly different order in the colour of the stripes, and also the blue is a slightly different colour. It's a slightly darker blue as well. But I knit I knit a sock in the colourway, and I've just thrown in a Drops Fable heel, just because I didn't want to break up the stripes. So I'm so pleased with how this is knit up, and I will knit the other one because I'd quite like to have these as a pair of socks for me. I don't really do shows or anything at the moment, so I don't really need samples as such for people to actually see and touch and feel. I just tend to need samples to photograph, which is why I wanted to knit this up. I knit this up before I released the colourways, the self-striping colourways in the shop, so that I could give an example of sort of the length of the stripes. And this is 6 colours in the stripe, and I've got a few other colourways which I'll talk about in shop news, which are 5 colours. So yeah, really excited about this. Yeah, and it's a new cast on that is a half finished object. So I will get the next one started quite soon. It's just a vanilla sock, so it's not overly complicated. Okay, so I was going to share a little bit of blanket progress, just to, beef up the content a bit. No, not really. I have made a bit of progress on this. I've been very busy with the shop update, dyeing a lot of the self-striping yarn, so I've not always had the headspace for proper knitting. And this has been perfect in those scenarios. So I have made a bit of progress on my granny stripe blanket, and I thought I would share. Where am I? Here we go. So it is growing. There it is. And I think last time I shared it, I was, it's getting lost in there a little bit, but I was just where that mushroom progress keeper is. So I've added a good sort of 4 or 5 inches onto this. Yeah, I've added a good 4 or 5 inches onto this. And I am still absolutely loving it. It's so nice to work on. It's so brainless. Yeah, and it's, as I said before, the only sort of colour management that I'm really doing in this is the stellina, which you're not going to be able to see on screen. But I am trying to spread my stellina out a little bit because I've only got limited stellina mini skeins, and I want them to I want the stellina to sort of go regularly across the blanket. So, oops, I've just dropped the ball of yarn that I'm currently working on under the table. See if I can rescue that with my feet. There we go. But yeah, it's still absolutely gorgeous and absolutely lovely. And this is the Patek by Atten. That's what I was about to come out of my mouth right then. This is the pattern by Attic 24, Lucy of Attic 24. Just the granny stripe blanket. Yeah, and it's I can't really show you the width. I'm just going to get a bit more wool up so I can. It's a little bit shorter than my wingspan, but I am aiming for it to sort of be a large lap blanket. It's going to fit over our double bed, but it's going to fit on top of our double bed, not over the sides, which was the plan. It's kind of aimed to fit on the sofa. So that we can kind of have it as a sofa, as a lap blanket on the sofa. So yeah, it's had some progress on, and I've been very much enjoying working on it. And I will continue to work on it and show it every so often when I've made some significant progress. Okay, so what else was I meant to be showing you? Oh, yarny goodness. Right. I have got quite a lot of yarny goodness to share with you this week. Some of which I can't actually share, which is a bit ridiculous, but you'll understand in a second. Where did all of this go? I've not really been putting things back in bags at all. It's all over the place. Right, so, yarny goodness. Where am I going to start? In fact, I'm actually just going to move this box down here so that things are a little bit easier to get to. Okay, so I am going to start with some of the stuff that has been gifted to me. So I took part in the Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted hashtag on Instagram, which was really, really fun. I really enjoyed being able to grant a few wishes. It's been lovely seeing the posts from people as yarn that I've sent them has arrived. And that they've been pleased with it, so that's amazing. And it just felt nice to be able to do something for the community that's welcomed me in, and to share some yarny goodness and things like that. So I put some wishes up, and a few people have granted wishes for me. I am hoping still that there's a couple of the wishes that... Right, this is going to sound a little bit weird, but I've never done this before, and I found it very, very hard to kind of trust that people would send the stuff that they said they'd send you. Do you know what I mean? You know, you send all this stuff out there, which I had absolutely no issues doing. I was more than happy. The things I sent, I thought to myself, you know what, if I don't get anything back, it doesn't matter. I'm sharing these things, and it's fine. But it still is quite, I don't know, it made me feel a little bit anxious, wondering whether things were actually going to arrive, you know, whether people were going to do what they said they were going to do. And I'm still expecting, there's still sort of three 3 or 4 things that people said that they would send me that I'm still expecting. Let's put it that way. And I'm hoping that, you know, people will show how wonderful and how honest and how loving the knitting community is, and those things will arrive. But we will see. But as it is, I have got 3 little things that have arrived. And that is some minis. So, one of the wishes that I asked for, which was quite an odd concept in the first place, to be asking for things to be given to me. But one of the wishes that I asked for was minis to add into my blankets. And the first ones that I received were these lovely purple ones, and you all know how much I love purple, and Arthur loves purple. So there were these lovely purple ones, and this is just gorgeous. I've got no idea what this one is, and it will get blown out, but it's this gorgeous sort of semi-solid tonal purple. It's really, really pretty. I've not weighed this, so I don't know quite how much is there, but it feels like nearly 20 grams or so. And then this lovely little 10 gram mini as well. This is Vicky Brown Designs, and this is a little 10 gram mini. So again, a gorgeous sort of purple tonal, which is not going to focus. Come and focus on the. There we go.
Mummy.
A gorgeous purple tonal. Hang on a second. Yes, Arthur?
I like this one.
Pardon?
I would like to get this one.
To get what, a game?
Yes.
Okay, maybe a little bit later on. Okay, you play the games that you've got there on there already, and I'll have a little look at some of the other games that you want to get. Okay? Sorry about that. So that was the first little package of minis that I received, which is lovely, and I can't wait to start adding these into my blanket. I've kind of not been doing it because I've wanted to save them to share with you. But once I've shared them with you, I can just start crocheting them into blankets. I also received another lovely little package of minis from Heather, who is made at number 40 on Instagram, and she has made at number 40, and she has a podcast which I didn't know, and I've since watched, and I really enjoyed it, so I'd love to follow along with that. And she sent me this lovely little bag of minis, and when she asked what I wanted, I said I kind of wanted 5 grams because that's what I use for my crochet squares. So these are perfect, and there's a really nice mix. I've got no idea what any of these are, but I don't mind. It's quite interesting to sort of feel them and see. It'll be interesting to see whether I can work out what bases they are or anything like that. So there's this lovely oh, come on, camera. My camera is doing funny things. My computer seems to be doing funny things. I'm hoping that this is recording smoothly. We will see. Come on, camera, can you focus for me, please? There we go. No? Here we go. Okay, so there's this lovely mini here, which is sort of dark purples with lighter purples, and there's a bit of orange in there. I have a feeling, I'm not 100% sure, that this is I don't know, I kind of want to say that it's kind of a commercial sock yarn, but I'm not sure. I don't think it is, actually, looking at it again. It might be a self-striping. Oh no, I don't think it's even that. I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see how it crochets up. It might be. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it crochets up in a square. So there's that one. And then there's this gorgeous sort of speckled pink and grey, which is again not going to focus. Right, come on, camera. Be nice to me, please. Here we go. Okay, so this gorgeous sort of speckled, natural speckled pink and grey. I'm going to leave my hand there so that we can hopefully keep the focus. And then there's this lovely, again, sort of speckled pale pink with pink speckles. And that's really pretty. There's a lovely sort of tonal grey there. A really nice bright neon, sort of neon greeny yellow. This sort of gorgeous tealy green. And then another greeny colour. This is kind of a more of a sort of a limey, limey yellowy green. Oh, we've lost the focus again. Come on, camera. There we go. Gorgeous sort of limey green. And then these three last ones, I've got no idea where they've come from, but these are single plies. And this is a lovely sort of, oh, in fact some of the colours aren't coming out. There's a real sort of limey background there with yellow, with pinks and yellows. Sorry. And then this is just a gorgeous purple speckles. And then this one is just gorgeous with greens and purples and blues, and it's just stunning. So I really can't wait to get those crocheted into squares to go in my square blanket. And then the other package that I received actually arrived today. And this was from somebody I sent something to. So I sent, is it Natalie? I'm looking at this now. I'm sure her name was Natalie. Sorry if I've got that wrong. I sent Natalie some self-striping as a granting her wish for some self-striping. So I sent her one of my balls of Glacier for the shop. And in response to that, she said, you know, would I be interested in any Norah George minis? Which, of course, I said, yes, please, that would be lovely. So she sent me 5 Norah George minis. And I haven't weighed these yet or anything like that, but I'm sure there's at least 10 grams here, it feels like. And they're wound into these lovely little balls. Oops, nearly dropped one. And she actually said that these are all from the Mrs. Weasley Club, which I've never been part of. Oh, what am I doing with my hands? Sorry, I'm trying to get this to focus again so that I can show you them a little bit more clearly. Which I've never been part of, but they're gorgeous. So this is kind of an undyed, ooh, dropped it on the computer. An undyed base with pinks and blues in there. And then there's this gorgeous sort of pale pink with almost rainbowy colours in there. Can you see there's a bit of blue and red and yellow, and that one's stunning. And then we've got kind of a tonal blue with some pink bits in. I've not got a lot in this colour actually, this kind of pale blue, so that's really nice to have that to add into my blanket. And then there's another sort of peachy pink colour there with some sandy speckles. And then last of all, there's this gorgeous rich sort of plummy red colour, which is a lovely looking tonal. So that's really nice. I'm really excited to have all of those to add into my blanket, and they will be getting put in quite soon, I think. Let's get the focus back on me. Hello people, no, camera, what are you doing this week, camera? I really do need to invest. Arthur doesn't know what the camera's doing either. I really do need to try and invest in a better camera for this. Maybe in the new year. Okay, so I did have some other yarny goodness. Now the other thing that was a gift is not really, well, it is yarny goodness, but it's yarny goodness that I can't share yet. And that is my advent calendar from the 24 Days of Christmas Cheer. I've put all the minis and all the yarn into this bag so that I can hang it up, but look at them, they're so beautifully just wrapped up. And all numbered, and I can't wait to start opening these on Friday. And at the bottom there is the 100-gram skein that for Christmas Day, which was my choice to include. So I can't wait to do that. And my swap partner Cindy, she also included some lovely little bits which I thought I would share. I've got a load of this raspberry tea, which I think is kind of a local tea to her. She also included some Ghirardelli peppermint bark. I've had Ghirardelli chocolate before. We went to San Francisco when I was 18, something like that, I think. And there was a Ghirardelli shop on Pier 39, and I can remember buying some chocolate from there, and that is It was really, really nice. I'm not a big fan of Hershey's, which is obviously the classic American chocolate. I find it quite mealy, but the Ghirardelli stuff is lovely. And then she also included this lovely little tin with all the Kitchen and Stitch information on the front, and all kinds of little bits and pieces inside. So there's some, there's a little sheep tape measure. There's some snips. I've never had snips before, so these are going to be awesome and going to get a lot of use. Sorry. There's some lovely little stitch markers. And these stitch markers are super cute. They're made of paper. They're paper origami. I don't know if I'm going to be able to share these easily. Sorry, bear with me a second. Let's see if I can get them. There we go. I rely on my camera to focus again. They're paper origami stars with little beads on the bottom. How fun are they? I think they're awesome. And then the tin has also got a really strong magnet stuck into the lid there, and there was a weaving needle, a darning needle, that's the word I want, for weaving in ends, a couple of different needle sizes, and then just a little crochet hook, which is really handy for picking up dropped stitches. And they just sit in the top of the tin there, so that was really lovely. And then the last thing she included in the package for me was a massive bottle of maple syrup. And this is awesome. We've actually started, we love maple syrup, and I'm pretty sure that she said maple syrup is there's a lot of maple stuff very, very local to her, including a lot of maple syrup local to her. We've actually just started, in the last couple of months, we've been doing on a Saturday morning, we make pancakes. We do American pancakes with maple syrup. And we don't use maple syrup because getting maple syrup over here is very, very expensive and quite difficult. So we end up using like the maple flavoured syrup. So having some proper maple syrup is lovely. She also included, which was so generous of her, a little gift for each of my boys. So that was absolutely lovely, and they're so pleased and so happy with their gifts as well. So thank you very much. Okay, so moving on, there is still some more yarny goodness, I'm afraid. But I am just going to pause a second and make sure that the camera is recording a little bit less joltily than it feels like it is when I'm watching it on the screen. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm back again, and actually it looks like the video is recording okay. It's just showing me really jumpily occasionally, but not in the actual recorded bit, if that makes any sense. Anyway, let's carry on with some yarny goodness, shall we? I'm sorry, I said this episode was going to be erratic, and it has been. So the next bit of yarny goodness, again, was something that I didn't purchase. My parents went recently to San Francisco, and while they were there, I sent them to a yarn shop. And I mostly sent them there so they could get my Christmas present, which hopefully they have, and I look forward to opening. I've got no idea what they've bought me. But I also, my dad has requested a cowl for Christmas. And I've mentioned before, in fact I showed yarn that I'd bought for it before. I'm going to do him the undertone cowl, or is it overtone cowl? I can never remember which way around that is. Overtone? I think it's overtone. I don't know. Anyway. It's a tin can knits pattern, which I've knit before for Arthur. It's a striped cowl with a slip stitch detail on it, and you use two colours. And I'm going to knit him that pattern, and I'd bought the yarn for it, and my dad is lovely, and he is super supportive of all my knitting and all my yarn business and everything. And he wanted an excuse to be able to buy me some yarn in America, so he said, oh, I'll pick out the yarn for my cowl while I'm there. So I was like, okay, that's fine, I can always use this other yarn for something else, I've got no issues with that. So that's what he did, and he sent them in the post to me. I gave him all the details, obviously the type of yarn weight that I needed, the yarn weight and the yardage and everything like that, but other than that I left it up to him. He's going to have a super luxurious cowl. This is what he came home with. So I've got 2 skeins. Each of these is 50 grams, which is exactly what I need for the cowl. The yardage and everything is perfect. But he picked up 2 skeins of the Fibre Company, and it's the Arcadia. And as you can see on there, it's a rustic blend of silk noir, baby alpaca, and merino wool. So this is so soft and so gorgeous and so luxurious. It's got a really lovely sheen to it from the silk, and I don't know how well it's going to show. And you can see some of the little silk noir patches there. There we go. In there as well, which gives a really nice effect. These are the 2 colours that he picked. So it is Orange Storm is this one here, and Blue Heron is this one here. But they're gorgeous together. I think I'm going to use this one as the main colour, and then this one will be sort of the stripes. But they are gorgeous. And yeah, it is 60% wool, 20% alpaca, and 20% silk. So it is stunning. It's a DK weight, which is what I need, again, for the pattern. But yeah, these are going to go really nicely together, and this will become a cowl for my dad. Hopefully it'll knit up quite quickly, because it should be by Christmas. So yeah, so that was one of the other things that came to live with me, which is lovely. And I don't really want to knit him a cowl out of it because I want to keep it for myself. No, that's not true. I will knit him a cowl out of this because it's going to make an amazing cosy cowl. My dad works for the National Trust. My dad's done all kinds of things in the time, but when we moved to Cornwall, he used to work away a lot. He used to be away from home. He used to travel a lot, and we didn't get to see him a lot. And then when I was about 11, 12, my parents had had enough of that, and he quit his job, and we moved to Cornwall. And he now works for the National Trust. And he works as a recruiter. He has a big van, which he drives around various places in Cornwall, and he provides information, and people come up and ask him questions, and people can come up and join the National Trust with him as well. So basically, all year round, he works outside. So a lovely warm cowl will do him amazingly throughout the winter. I think it's something that he will wear all the time. So I'm more than happy to knit it for him. So this is lovely. Okay, and then there is a last little bit of yarny goodness, and this is a very guilty yarny goodness because this is yarn I should not have spent money on, and I did, and I do not regret it in the slightest. So I missed out on Nottingham Yarn Expo recently. It's quite a long way for me to travel, but I followed a lot of the posts on Instagram, and yeah, it was amazing that so many dyers were there, and there were a number of dyers who were quite hard to get hold of, including particularly Norah George yarns, which was obviously where these minis were from, which is why I was so excited about the option of having some Norah George minis. Because sometimes her yarn can be quite difficult to get hold of, especially things like the yarn clubs. And often, when somebody's updates sell out so quickly, which actually I'm starting to feel a little bit guilty because some of my colourways have been selling out quite quickly. But I find that, when they do an update, you don't always have money at that time of the month. It's not always at the right time of the month. It's not always when you can actually afford to buy yarn. And, when it's there and gone that quickly, it can be a bit disappointing. But she came home from Nottingham Yarn Expo with a lot of yarn, and she did a massive shop update. And I was on the ball for it. So I picked up 2 colourways of Norah George yarns, and I have never had a 100-gram skein of Norah George yarns, so I'm very, very excited about this. So this is the first one, and I'm afraid these are going to get blown out. And this is, they're both on her, what does she call it, her Super Sock, which is a 75-25 merino nylon. And this is Fleur Delacour, and actually the colour's not doing too badly. So it's just this gorgeous sort of minty green and blue speckled colourway. It's got purple speckles in there and turquoise speckles, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I've got no idea what these are going to become, but these will be things that live in my stash until I find the perfect project for them. And then the other one I bought was super fun. This is Horcrux. So again, it's a speckled colourway. It's got kind of a greyish beige base, with just these really fun speckles, and there's some really neon speckles in there as well. Yeah, really fun. And I loved that both of these were Harry Potter colourways as well. So yeah, I'm more than pleased with these, and I cannot wait to find a project for them, really, and to knit them up. But for now, they will just be living in my stash. So yeah, I just can't resist a bit of Norah George yarns at the moment. I just see so much of it on Instagram, and yeah, absolutely stunning. I could just hug them. Anyway, now that awkward yarn hugging moment is over, that's all my yarny goodness. And I'm actually hoping, fingers crossed, one of the wishes that was granted was a skein of Norah George yarns. So I'm kind of hoping, fingers crossed, that that might still be coming my way, because if it is, that would be amazing. Yeah, really, really would be. But anyway, Norah George yarns, lovely yarn. And that is all my yarny goodness. Woo! So, shop news is the next thing, and as I said, I haven't really got it here to show you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle which way? This way a little bit, so that I can put pictures up over here and I won't be in the way, and tell you a few of the things that I've got in the shop. So there's a few things that have been sold out. I did a big update this weekend, and firstly, the main attraction of that big update was the self-striping yarn that I have been doing. And I have updated the shop with 4 colourways. There is Glacier, which is very similar to the colourway that I showed you earlier. There's Baubles, which is a really fun pink, purple, blues, green, turquoise colourway, which is sort of reminiscent of like modern Christmas tree decorations on the Christmas tree. There's Hot Chocolate, which is proving very popular, and that is sort of a light brown, a dark brown, a pink, and an undyed and a grey stripe, reminiscent of sort of marshmallows in hot chocolate, wintry drinks. And then the last one is Robin Redbreast, which is the colours of a robin, because robins are such a Christmassy bird. They, you know, it's the time of year that we see robins around in the UK, and they just make me think of Christmas. So you've got sort of an orangey red, a light brown, a bluey grey, a darker grey, and then an undyed for kind of a snowy ground as well. Now, I did sell out of Baubles, Hot Chocolate, and Robin Redbreast. However, I've put up a dye to order listing, so if anybody is interested in them, then they are still available. There's just kind of a 2-week or so wait for that, and there are limited numbers for the dye to order. I think I've sold half of them so far at this point anyway, but yeah, they're still available. And then I also updated with a load of sock sets. I'm pretty sure a few of them have sold out. I think Stormy Rainbow and Rainbow Drops have sold out, but I think there's still some. There's still Glacier sock sets, which I used the colours from Glacier to create a sock set, which I thought was really fun and really wintry. There's still some Glacier sock sets. There's still, I'm not sure if there is any arty or not. There might still be some arty. And then the last one is If Pigs Could Fly, which is just a really fun colourway. I couldn't resist when I put the colours together. And I think that's all of them. But they're still available in the shop. And if anything, as I've said before, if anything is sold out, then don't hesitate to contact me. I'm more than willing to do custom orders. There may be a little bit of a wait, especially at this time of year with Christmas coming up. But if you're happy to wait for the yarn, then contact me and I'd be more than happy to do a custom order. So that is what is in the shop at the moment. I haven't got an update planned at the moment. What's happening next? The Flower Fairies. January Flower Fairies pre-order is closing tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day. So hopefully I'll get this up by tomorrow. Otherwise it's gone, isn't it? Sorry. But February will be opening on the 1st of December, and I'm also going to be opening the 3-month Spring Flower Fairies Club on the 1st of December so that it can remain open for 2 months, just to give people more of a chance with that one as well. Yeah, yeah, so that's what's happening. I'm planning on putting some yarn in the shop so that there will be yarn in the shop over Christmas. Yeah, so that's kind of what's planning. I haven't worked that out. I haven't worked out what yarn I'm putting in the shop, what colourways I'm putting in the shop, or anything yet. I just know I want to have some yarn in the shop over Christmas. But I will let you know when I know more on that. Yeah, so that's all the shop news that I have at the moment. So let's just finish off with a little bit of behind the scenes. So what's been going on? It's been really busy. I've been working really hard on this shop update. And it's obviously, I think I recorded just after Jasper's birthday last time. Well, it was Arthur's birthday yesterday. Unfortunately, he was poorly. But he did have a birthday party at the weekend, which he seemed to really, really enjoy. He had lots of fun. He wasn't poorly at that stage. So he had a whale of a time. And with all his friends and things like that. So that was really, really nice. We didn't really do anything for his birthday yesterday because he was just feeling too unwell, unfortunately. He is desperate to get the Christmas tree up. He keeps talking about the Christmas tree. And he's heard me talk about the Christmas tree. Do you want to come and join me for the behind the scenes? Tell everyone about your birthday. Yeah? Oh, come on then, little man. What did you get for your birthday? Did you? Yes, you did. You bought this, didn't you? One of your friends gave you some money and you bought this Paw Patrol vehicle. It's Rocky, isn't it? And Rocky goes inside. Yeah, you're so excited about that. What else did you get for your birthday? What big thing did you get for your birthday from Mummy and Daddy?
Bike.
A bike, yeah. And I'm looking forward to when you're feeling better and we can actually take you out and you can have fun riding it. Yeah, so that's basically what we've been up to. Arthur's birthday and things like that. Don't press buttons on the computer, sweetie pie, because you might stop it recording. Yeah, so that's what we've been up to. What else is happening? I've got a job interview on Monday. I've basically had a bit of enough with the agency that I've been working for. Oh, sorry, this is going to be involved a bit of camera jogging. The agency that I've been working for, they've not been very reliable. I bet you can see us being recorded on the screen. They've not been very reliable in giving me shifts. I've actually missed out on quite a few shifts recently, which has been a real pain. I spotted that somewhere I used to work quite often with the agency. There's a place called, I won't say what it's called because obviously I don't know whether I've got the job yet and it's a bit awkward to share things like that, isn't it, sometimes. But basically there was a place that I used to work quite regularly, which is a respite unit for children with disabilities, and they are advertising for bank staff. So I've applied for that because I used to love working there. Every time I got sent there with the agency, I was always so excited by it. I absolutely adored it. So I've applied for that. And bank staff, for those of you that don't know, it's a bit like agency, but you work for one specific company, but you do occasional hours. So I'd be able to work the same way in that I can give them my availability. Yeah, I can give them my availability, tell them when I'm available. I'm very waving a sock around. I can tell them when I'm available and get shifts based on that, which is what I need with Tom being away. And in fact, that is actually the next thing that I've got coming up. Oh, careful, Arthur. Unfortunately, for me anyway, on Monday, Tom goes away for nearly 2 weeks. He's off to Australia for a conference, or various conferences, I believe. And yeah, he's going to be away for nearly 2 weeks. My mum is coming up for some of it, about nearly a week of it. My mum is coming up for nearly a week of it, so hopefully that will help a little bit. But oh, no, don't unwind my ball of yarn. So hopefully that will help a little bit. And we'll be able to do some Christmassy stuff while she's up here as well, which will be really nice. But yeah, 2 weeks with solo parenting is always a challenge, so wish me luck. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to leave it there. I will leave you with a few photographs, as usual, and hopefully I will be back in about 2 weeks' time. My mum will be down, so actually maybe I could get her to keep an eye on the kids while I recorded briefly. I don't know, we'll see what happens. But hopefully I'll have some more knitting progress and less interruptions next time I record. But thank you very, very, very much for watching and putting up with me and bearing with it to this point if you have. Hopefully my editing skills won't be too choppy because I know that I've recorded this in at least 3 sections. So yeah, hopefully it will all come together smoothly. Fingers crossed. Anyway, for now I will say goodbye and I will see you again in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you for watching. Bye.